Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would do a nostalgia video for you guys and gals. These have done really well, and I've made videos discussing how people trained and things that they did back when I was a noob, 25 plus years ago. First started in the gym, back in my early 20s. It was a different world. I've talked a lot about the culture. I've talked a lot about the training. I've talked a little about the nutrition. But I actually had someone ask me the other day, how did the guys really eat back then? And there's going to be things that they got right and things that they got wrong. But I want people to keep in mind, my generation, everyone was bigger and strong. Like, people didn't have problems, reaching the numbers we talk about. When we talk about a 300 bench, 400 squat, 500 deadlift, these were considered benchmarks, and it didn't matter whether you were a bodybuilder, a powerlifter, or a gym rat. Like, these were just expectations. And it's not just me. I made a video a decade ago, and even Lobliner over at Tiger Fitness saw my video, and he mentioned, yeah, he's absolutely right. He actually confirmed the exact same things that I said, that back then, if you couldn't bench 300, squat 400, deadlift 500, and you went and did a cycle of gear, dude, people made fun of you. He said people would kick your butt. They didn't where I lived down in Texas, but they would definitely make fun of people because you were seen as kind of a cheater. You were shortcutting, right? You hadn't put in the work yet. Like, you're supposed to build a base natural, and then you consider going on stuff later, right? But it was frowned upon. The whole culture frowned on it. They weren't even anti-gear. Like, most people were not anti-gear. So it was different. People all got big and strong. You were expected to, and there was more of a community at the gym levels than there is today. It was seen as more of a brotherhood and sisterhood. Not the same stuff we have online today. And how did people eat, though? I've discussed the training. And most people didn't train as often as they oftentimes do now. It was usually 3 or 4 days a week. Unless people were coming in doing cardio or sport-specific stuff or whatever other things they did. But as far as how did people eat, and I mean how people ate who were largely recreational type bodybuilders, gym rats. But keep in mind, a lot of the gym rats who didn't compete in anything were crazy jacked. They were crazy jacked. Again, I saw physiques that could have been competitive in bodybuilding for guys who just had been training for 20 years. Okay. So put that in perspective, who didn't have any intention of competing. So when you looked at how most of the guys ate, it was very straightforward. Everyone slammed tons of protein. Didn't matter whether they were bulking or cutting. We pushed protein a lot harder back then. Now, some of it was because the bodybuilding magazines and all this, and Flex magazine and Muscle and Fitness. Keep in mind, magazine culture was still big. It wasn't all about influencers. It was about the magazines and the Weeder publications, and they all pushed ultra high protein. So everybody ate tons and tons of protein. So people were saying, well, like 1 gram per pound of body weight. No, we were reading articles saying, no, if you really want to get big, the one gram per pound of body weight, it's not enough, you got to go 1.5. And then there were some bodybuilding coaches saying, I make all my bodybuilders eat 2 grams per pound of body weight. So it's like having people eating 500 grams of protein and stuff. They were pushing that. So we all ate lots and lots of protein, lots of animal protein. And it was usually, most of us were eating 300 plus grams a day. It was always, well, that 1 gram per pound was the minimum. That was like your minimum baseline, that if you didn't eat that, we actually all thought you wouldn't make any gains. Like, dude, if you go under that, you won't gain any muscle at all, which is, laughable. So we did not have a protein deficiency. And most of us were slamming huge amounts of protein post-workout because we all believed in that anabolic window. The research hadn't come out debunking it. There had been some studies showing that muscle protein synthesis post-workout, but we didn't read the studies and know it was all in fasted people. And so we all thought you needed a minimum of 50 grams of fast-absorbing protein immediately post-workout. And a lot of us started talking about, and people were doing, and well, really, it's even better to go up to 100 grams. So you can do 50 grams if you're going to eat a big meal right after you train, right? With a lot of meat in it. Or a lot of milk. A lot of people drink a lot of whole milk. There was always this focus on, meat, but a lot of times it was lower fat when people were bulking. It was carbs, carbs, carbs when you wanted to bulk, and then you cut the carbs out when you wanted to lose body fat. that was just the mindset. That is how everyone did it. Keep in mind, Atkins had gotten big back then. They weren't even calling it keto diets back then. Everyone was calling it Atkins diets. And then later we started seeing some stuff with the anabolic diet came out with Dr. Mario Di Pasquale. Then you saw later Lyle stuff with the ketogenic diets. And so this was how people ate. It was tons and tons of protein, focused on protein and carbs, but protein was always super important. I mean, and people were literally, you've got to get 50 grams of protein minimum before you leave the gym. You have to, or your workout was just a complete waste. That was the mindset. So accordingly, we all slammed huge amounts of protein. We all probably bulked too hard. We all got fatter than we needed to because we were all, you got to bulk up, you got to bulk up. And I mean, people went hard. I knew plenty of guys who literally would bulk up to 250 to cut down back under 200. It was really normal. It was very normal back then. So yeah, dudes were all benching 315 for reps, deadlifting 500 for reps, bulking up on 400 or 500 grams of protein. This was kind of normal. This was kind of the normal gym culture. That's what we did. And when people wanted to cut, it was, well, if you could still gain muscle too on a low carb diet, you just got to get lots of steak and peanut butter. So it was always, for people who wanted to get lean, it was, you just got to live on steak and eggs and vegetables, steak, eggs, and vegetables. But if you want to get big and still stay lean, it was steak and peanut butter diet. Like I literally had people talk about that. I remember people talking about, yeah, dude, I'm doing the steak and peanut butter diet. It's helping me make just all leaner gains, man. I'm staying lean because the carbs are lower, and I'm getting a lot of protein and calories this way. Like, so I eat steak and peanut butter every meal. So dudes were doing that. I even did it for a while, drinking that 100 grams of protein post workout, always adding creatine, glutamine, any extra free amino we could find or buy had to be good post workout. We just throw it in, didn't matter. We really did that, and we all thought it's what we were supposed to do, okay? So this is the way that we ate. And the same thing, a lot of us started trying to do leaner gains on low-carb diets, but they were still crazy high protein, so it was kind of the anabolic diet. So again, people would be doing 400 grams of protein on lower carbs and just eating huge amounts of healthy fats. Okay, so there would be red meat and stuff, but it was always, eat the peanut butter, eat the macadamia nuts, add olive oil to everything. And I did that for a while. It's like I had meals that were just turkey breast, vegetables, and just like huge amounts of extra virgin olive oil poured on it. But I wasn't the only one. It's like I was learning this from other people at the time. This is how people ate. It was tons of protein to get big, add lots of carbs to bulk up, and if you want to get leaner or try to make leaner gains, you just cut the carbs down and did lots of good fats. That's what we call them, good fats. Steak, peanut butter, olive oil. And then more information came out on omega-3, so then there was this topic of fish oil, flaxseed oil got really big. I still use flaxseed oil, by the way. So this was the dietary approach of how gym rats ate back then. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.